All right, gonna do a quick trade recap for Wednesday, September 17th. So looking at the pre-market analysis, price is still at all-time highs, starting to balance out a little bit this past few sessions. And then today was also FOMC, which was key. In my main thing I was watching, or I guess my main levels were first this 7.3 through 7.6, and then also this 6.660 level. Kind of within these areas, I was looking for balanced setups. First, like reversals here from these highs, or a reversal or failed break of this level. And then if we were to break out, I was watching this upside for break and retest, and then to the downside, I needed to see a breakdown below this 6.653 level for the break and retest. So this wasn't a pure balance between 2 points, because there is kind of a little bit of stuff going on down here, but overall we're in balanced conditions, and that's how we played it. So market opens up, pushes right into that 7.376 level, which I don't really have anything marked out on this chart, but it was the main. I was just watching it because it was that recent balance high, and it corresponded with yesterday's high, and pre-market high, and just a lot of resistance. So you can see market opened up and dumped. We'll look at the tape. So on open, we get an aggressive push into our key level. It fails, some selling comes in off of that. At this point, I'm kind of getting a little interested in this level. If we get a retest, thinking that there could be some more downside, we get a pop up. Some selling starts to come in, pop up again. I didn't get in on this because I wanted to see a little bit more of a pop up, up all the way into here. But then when this failed and then this bind started to fail again on this pop, I realized that this is not a bad entry area, because it was developing more, plus it wasn't even that far from the top. Some selling starts to come in. This is when I get my short entry at 6671.5, just about in here. Pushes down a little bit. We come back up, test our entry area, or a little bit above that actually, get decently close to stop. I believe my stop was at 74.75, so actually not too close to the stop, but this buyer gets absorbed. And if I hadn't been in this trade at this point, what just happened? If I hadn't been in the trade at this point, this would be a very, very good entry. Shows another buyer getting absorbed and then selling coming in thereafter. And then one other thing, I wanted to pull up the screenshot from the time of entry. Looking at the depth, you can see some heavy negative delta sitting right here at this key level, just implying that there is a passive seller sitting there absorbing all those buyers. And that negative delta really built on this initial push. So you can just see buying absorption, selling coming in, and then the passive seller on the depth of market, and we eventually get a push. I scale out, similar to yesterday's win, some of my position early, just due to the conditions, and it does hurt my RR at the end of the day. But when I scale out, it's because it looks like it could possibly reverse, and with the given conditions at all-time highs, in a balance, and FOMC today, all of that combined, I'm not looking to be super aggressive. I want to be more risk off. So when I'm getting red flags, I'm fine to scale out a little bit and then reduce my stop losses, so that if it does go against me, my downside is way more limited. But that will in turn limit my upside if the trade does work. But that's how I personally like to trade these conditions. If price can hopefully get a nice dump down here in the next few weeks, then we'll open up to really having to be strict and holding the targets. But it's just, you got to adjust with the flows. So yeah, here's our entry, 71.5. I start scaling out after we've had, failed push down. I'm thinking this could be a failed push down, but it didn't happen to be one. But on this candle, it looked like it was going to be one. We started coming back up and coming back, then we came back down. I scaled out another. And then these These I really could have been a little bit more patient on. Was a little bit afraid to let this go red on me, but like I said, with these conditions, it was not a terrible idea. This was my original target where I got out just one, but you can see how if I would have been in that waiting to just get out my first skill there, and then got out like 2 or 3 contracts, and then it reversed, I wouldn't have been too happy. And then this was taken just below break even, just got a tick on that. Yeah, and then price rallied up, had a nice failed pop above that, still respecting that 6676 level. And yeah, it's dumping from there, but that'll be all for me today, and probably all for the week. I've got some stuff to do the next few days, and I'll be traveling, so I don't think I'll have my setup with me. And yeah, I'm not too worried about it. I'll enjoy a few days off, and the market will still be here on Monday. So with that, it's all. Peace.